Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm fine, Michael. And yes, today we are getting stuck into the air side, the pneumatic side of it. So exciting times ahead. We have Michael modelling here the old bit of lead pipe.
Right, okay, so let's just go into a bit of detail here. If you look down there, there's the pedal board, and that controls the lowest 30 notes of the organ, which are the huge wooden pipes. Now, how do you connect that keyboard to that box up there? Well, that box there, this one, should we turn it around, Nick? Show them. See, this box here goes behind the pedal board, and it has little levers on it. Now, each pedal has a little stick that pushes on each one of these levers, which just allows air out of, let's turn it back round, the holes in the back.
The air comes in here,
Yeah.
and as Michael said, when the pedal's activated, the air comes out.
So the air comes out of here. Now, originally, that was connected from down here right the way up to here. Each one was connected by lead pipe. But these days, we don't use lead pipe. We actually use this PVC replica lead pipe. There you go, look at that.
So it looks
So it
very
looks
simple.
the part, but it won't kill you.
And it's...
Lead won't actually kill you. You just don't try to inhale it
Or eat it. Ingest it.
Actually, apparently, lead's actually not too bad on your hands.
You need a little
You're just
bit.
going to wash them regularly, but you can touch lead. You just can't chew it.
Moving on briskly, we're now on to the... So we showed you where the air comes in, but the air, this part here, actually sits on the back of those really big wind bellows. So this is where the air is charged from. It then goes into here to go from, comes out of there and goes into this box here. So you've got a little connecting pipe, but the real magic happens when you have one of the pipes, the new pipes we're going to put in, it activates this tiny little wedge bellow here.
Yep.
And as it does that, it takes the air from those big bellows and charges this full of air. And then all Michael's got to do, in essence, is put his foot on the pedal, and bingo, it sends the air all the way up those little pipes to the big pipes at the back, to those other whole row of wedge bellows on the bottom of the big box. And
yeah, so if you haven't already fallen asleep, look with us, because we'll show you that it works later. So let's crack on, shall we?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another video. So I'm in the kitchen this morning, and like I said yesterday, I must continue osmoing. Osmoing is never ending in this kitchen because there's so much oak. So I've got to do the worktop for the island, and then I've also got, if you follow me, these are the skirting or baseboards for the island. And I don't think you've seen these before because they're so long, I've got them stored away somewhere else. And I've got to sand these, osmo them, and then put them on. But very important about these is, because obviously if you're going to mop in the kitchen, water may go underneath, and we need to seal the bottoms of these. Ooh, almost dropped the sander. Yeah, so if we seal the bottom of them, and if water does sit underneath a little bit, it won't soak in and damage or stain the wood. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today, so I better crack on.
Welcome back. We are in the thick of the action. Michael and I are on this pneumatic side that we spoke of. We've mounted the pedal receiving block here, and I'm putting these pipes in that Michael spoke of earlier. I've just put some temporary little bits of brass wire, so it just holds these pipes somewhere about where we need them, and then they're all going to be sort of laid in a relaxed fashion so that nothing's pulling or snagging. And then when that's done, I can go along and neaten them all up. But for now, it's from one point on the board all the way up and then into the back of these, which Michael and I have marked up. So hopefully we get the right one from down there to up here. We know what's on here and we know how it goes on the keys. So yeah, it's going really well. And it's just a case of, I think we've done 6 or 7, so 30 in total. But yeah, we're getting there and we've got a good system. Then we'll tidy it all up, so it'd be a good job. So let's crack on.
It's time to Osmo the kitchen island worktop again. I've actually started doing it. and it looks fantastic. In fact, it looks even better this time round because it's actually had a coat. It's been sanded off at 120, which is less finer, but it opens the grain. 120 is a very important number for sanding and wood finishing. And I really like 120 grit. 150 is a little bit too high. 120 is perfect. So it just allows the grain to be opened a bit, the Osmo to seep in nicely to get a really nice consistent finish. Because if you use a really high grit on wood like this, it sort of seals it a little bit and it doesn't seep in as well. And we want that nice consistent color. So the Osmo, and I'd get a lot of emails, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't get a lot of time to reply to everyone, but I've had quite a few emails about the Osmo and what Osmo I use. This is the 3032 Satin Clear, and I use this for everything. There's no color to it. It's just wax and oil. So yeah, 3032 if you want to order it. This isn't a sponsored video, I just love the product. So I've got a brush of medium size, not the biggest brush in the world, but I don't like big brushes. Yeah, and then we just follow the grain the best we can. Make sure it gets in nice into all the grain and the gaps. And what I'll do is probably on the second coat, I'll probably use a roller, a very fine roller, just to get a really nice consistent last coat. Yeah, it's gonna look amazing. Does it ever need refreshing? So with Osmo, it doesn't flake like a varnish. It is essentially wax and oil. So what will happen is, if you end up with a big scratch, you don't have to sand it. All you do is, I think you just sort of rub in some more Osmo into the scratch and it disappears. But what's great about Osmo as well, once this is done with 2 coats, if I had a glass which is wet or a cup of tea and I put it on the worktop, it could be there for a day. You remove it and you don't have any rings. It's absolutely fantastic and it seals the wood. It doesn't allow anything to soak in. Like some of the varnishes or finishes, if you did that, you'd end up with rings. We don't want rings. And we've got a dining table that we did the same thing to at home. And it is absolutely amazing. And we did it probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And it still looks as new as when we first did it. And that dining table has seen a lot of use. A lot of Christmases, a lot of family gatherings, a lot of parties. So, yeah, that's why we're using it. So yeah, it's just important for me now to spend a bit of time doing this. Follow the grain.
And you're still happy with the chandelier?
So the chandelier is absolutely amazing. It's really hard to see the actual scale of it on camera. Even photographs don't do it justice. It is massive. It's 1 meter 20 or 1 meter 30 that way by 1 meter 40 high. And that's huge for a chandelier. It's not too high, it's not too low. Generally with a chandelier, you would hang it so you wouldn't touch it if you're doing this. That is the rule of thumb generally for a chandelier. So you can't hit it if you're jumping about in a room. Not that you would do that, but obviously there's an island here. You can't really hit it by accident. So it's the perfect height above an island. And even if this was a dining table, that would be the perfect height as well. In fact, you can go slightly lower, I think. But yeah, absolutely love the chandelier. And it is the chandelier that Ed and Anna found at, down in Bordeaux at the Antiques Fair in Bordeaux city centre, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'll put a link here or there to the channel, the video, if you want to see them finding it. Yeah, and Anna negotiated on the price, which was really good because it was actually really expensive. And don't go into prices very much on this channel, but yeah, I've never paid that much for a chandelier before. But you have to spend the money to get the right thing sometimes, and yeah, I'll just have to pay my tax bill another month.
And it's perfect for this.
It is perfect, yeah. the taxman will have to wait. I needed a chandelier.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, so what are you up to in here?
Well, what we're doing is all this timber that came out of the ceiling of the kitchen that Billy's doing up at the moment. It's all the laths that come out. What we're doing, bagging it up, taking it back to the chateau for kindling wood. And this bone dry is perfect stuff for that. But there's going to be twice as much more the next one when we do the library. We'll have another load the same, but it doesn't matter. It's all wood. It burns.
Easy with Yanis, isn't it?
Yeah, we got Yanis with us, and we're bagging up. There's a few more to do yet.
And there was quite a lot to start with.
Yeah, we've already taken the load back to the chateau and the cottage.
And what is this room as well?
This is a storeroom for the vegetables. When the nuns obviously was running the place, if you go up there, you can see there's rows and rows of trays and where it was all the vegetables were kept. There must have been so much fruit and stuff in here, years ago.
It'd be nice to when the garden's put back.
Yeah, that's right.
Again.
Yeah, won't be long when we get it back in the spring. We've already started, but we'll finish off in the spring when it dries up a bit. It's a bit too wet now.
Let's crack on.
Okay, so we've just been to the local organ supply store, which is
Brico Depot, Marche.
Brico Marche, to get the last few bits for the organ. We got some cable organising, cable ties, zip ties, whatever you want to call them, which are going to hold those lovely new pipes, going to keep them organised. We're midway through, but we're going to push on, hopefully, and get all that pneumatics done, because tomorrow the plan is that these dowels that we we're actually going to turn them. We've had a problem with the machining side of the operation that...
We can't get a lathe in time.
Yeah, so what we've done, Michael came up with an ingenious idea, which was, we have a piece of dowel which is actually very close, or it is the size of the hole.
Yep.
We then cut this difference in the copper pipe, which is going to be the sleeve, and that will then harmoniously slide over
in like that,
and it'll leave something looking like this at the end of it. So what you'll have in effect is that
made of copper and wood.
Made of copper and wood, which I think could be lovely. Yeah. So we've just got to tidy this up. We're going to just chamfer the edge. That will then slot in there, and we've got to do 10 of those, and we can put our board in place. Yep. On the pneumatics, it's all going very well. It is a little bit
time-consuming.
Yeah,
but we are quite a way in already, so they'll be usable by tomorrow.
And it's making sense.
It is, yeah. Finally.
So yeah, because when that was the thing when Michael showed you that that lead pipe. We're kind of over halfway on the length of the pipe. We've used 60 metres, is it 60 in one?
We've used 30 metres.
Sorry, 30 metres in one roll already, but now we're getting closer to where that pedal box is. So it's looking good. But going back to what Michael said about the old pipe, that would have had to have all been bent and kind of manipulated into shape.
The new stuff is a dream to work with.
Yeah. So yeah, the miles of lead pipe have gone and we're now onto the synthetic. So yeah, it's looking good. So yeah, plan of attack is finish this, board in tomorrow, all the pipes in, so the organ will, to all intents and purposes, be done with all the components of the musical side.
Have you started on the second roll of that pipe yet?
Yeah.
So we're about 100 feet of plastic pipe used already.
So far,
It's a lot of pipe.
Yeah, but I think it'll definitely do the job. And then yeah, so when all the movement, all that's done, we can then look at the movements because as we spoke about before, one of the keys is that we get all the playable bits that are all about right. So that's going to be a bit of tinkering. And then,
but after today, we've only got 2 days left until you go back home for Christmas.
That's it. Yeah, I'm off back to the Moon household. So yeah, it's not a it doesn't have to be a definitive, but it would be nice, and I don't think we see any reason why we can't get it done. So hopefully Friday will be really putting it through its paces, and we've got then, as you can see, the panel here and not here, we've got the panels to go back in, and that is from the one there, and then we've got the whole side that goes in, and then we've got the sliding doors.
Yep.
Michael never saw the sliding doors because he in the very beginning he didn't see it before we actually...
I've never actually seen the organ complete.
Yeah.
So this will be a first.
Yeah, so so the doors to go in, and then the panels, there are cover panels, but what I think we might do...
we might leave it open for now,
yeah,
so that I can still tinker with it up until Christmas, when I'm going to have to learn to play an organ in a week.
I think what's really interesting is, though, that even if we did it, everything was perfectly adjusted, the whole thing with them is they settle. So all those tiny little fibre, what's the name of the fibre?
The washers.
Yeah, but it's made of felt.
Felt
all the
washers.
Felt bits and those little leather buttons and all those millions or whatever it is of parts that move will settle. So that will give Michael the opportunity just to tweak it as he feels necessary.
It will be a work in progress for several months afterwards, but it will be playable by Christmas, by hook or by crook.
Michael needs a good bit of loving.
He does, yeah.
So yeah, that's all good. So we'll catch up with you tomorrow on another day of festive fun at the Grand Organ Rebuild.
Yes, thanks for watching. Bye.